For 160 million years, they commanded the earth. An empire of flesh and bone, so vast and so enduring, it must have seemed eternal. But what if the titans of our imagination, the monsters of the silver screen, were a fiction? The Velociraptor, a cinematic icon of reptilian terror, was in truth a creature no larger than a turkey. Its body was cloaked not in scales, but in a dense mantle of feathers. Its closest living relatives are not lizards, but the predatory birds that soar through our skies today. The truth, etched in stone, is often more fantastic than the myth. Our knowledge is born from the silent testimony of fossils. From these petrified remains, paleontologists resurrect lost worlds. A single bone, bearing the subtle imperfections of a lifetime, can betray the secrets of an animal's musculature, even the ancient diseases that plagued it. The intricate architecture of a skull reveals the size of a brain and the nature of a diet. Within the delicate curve of a fossilized egg, the story of the next generation waits to be told. Their epoch spanned the majority of the Mesozoic era, an age divided into three great acts. It began in the Triassic, from roughly 256 to 208 million years ago. It flourished in the Jurassic and reached its dramatic zenith in the Cretaceous, which ended 66 million years before our time. But they did not appear in a vacuum. Before the dinosaurs, other reptiles hood recovering from catastrophe. These ancient reptiles moved with limbs splayed out to the sides, an inefficient, sprawling. Then, a revolution in anatomy occurred. A new lineage arose, the archosaurs, the ruling lizards. One group among them underwent a profound transformation. Their limbs shifted, moving from the sides to a position directly beneath the body. This was the dawn of a new and successful skeletal design, a blueprint for power and speed that would give rise to their descendants, the dinosaurs, the terrible lizards. By the close of the Triassic, the first true giants walked the earth. Among them, the Dilophosaurus, a master of the early Jurassic, whose footprints, pressed into mud 210 million years ago, marked the true beginning of their reign. Their empire, which seemed without end, was finite. Their legacy, buried for millennia, speaks to the fragility of dominance and the relentless march of geologic time. In their bones, we find not just monsters, but a reflection of life's incredible and often brutal journey. From the sun-scorched earth of the Arizona desert, a ghost emerges. Here, the fossilized remains of Coelophysis tell the story of one of Earth's first truly swift predators, an agile hunter that heralded a new age. But this was merely the dawn. The true flourishing of their dynasty would arrive in the Cretaceous period, a time when the number and diversity of these magnificent reptiles reached their absolute apogee, spreading across every continent. To this day, science has identified and named more than 1,000 distinct species of dinosaur, a sprawling family tree neatly divided into two great clans, the plant eaters and the flesh eaters. The sheer scale of their existence is staggering. Life ranged from the diminutive predator Compsognathus, scarcely larger than a modern rooster, to the colossal, earth-shaking sauropods, the lizard-footed giants that defied imagination. Within this grand narrative are tales of scientific discovery and revision, stories where our own understanding has evolved. Consider the case of Oviraptor, a creature whose very name, egg thief, was born from a profound misunderstanding. Its first fossil was unearthed, positioned directly over a nest of eggs. The paleontologists of a bygone era concluded it was a poacher caught in the act of raiding another's clutch. Decades later, further discoveries and advanced analysis revealed the astonishing truth. The eggs belonged to the Oviraptor itself. This was not a thief, but a devoted parent, sheltering its own young, protecting its legacy to the very last. Their success was built upon a revolutionary biological architecture. The most ancient ideas of, from the mighty Triceratops to the smallest runner, their legs were positioned vertically beneath the torso. This simple shift in anatomy granted them a longer, more efficient stride, and the capacity for speed that their sprawling-gaited contemporaries could never hope to match. Their methods of locomotion were as varied as their forms. Many, especially the long-limbed ostrich dinosaurs, were phenomenal runners, capable of reaching speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour across the prehistoric brutes, but sophisticated hunters, using coordinated attacks to overwhelm small mammals or other dinosaurs, their long, sickle-shaped claws serving as the final, devastating work. At the other end of the spectrum were the heavyweights. A 35-ton Apatosaurus moved with the deliberate, ground-shaking pace of an elephant. And the true titans, the giant sauropods weighing in excess of 50 tons, were slower still, their every step a monumental effort. To support such immense bulk, their feet couldn't dull. Instead, evolution provided a perfect solution. Between their toes and heel lay a thick, keratinous pad, a biological shock absorber almost identical to that found on the sole of a modern elephant, distributing their colossal weight with every single step. These sauropods were the undisputed masters of scale. Herbivorous giants defined by a vast torso, a surprisingly small head, and a neck of giraffine length, engineered to browse the tender leaves at the crowns of the tall, blunt molars further back. The Diplodocus, the double-beamed lizard, stretched an incredible 26 meters from head to tail, weighing a formidable 11 tons. Yet even it was dwarfed by the Brachiosaurus, the arm lizard. Reaching a length of 28 meters and a height of 13, it weighed as much as 100 tons, the equivalent of 16 African elephants. To fuel such a body, a Brachiosaurus had to be a relentless eating machine, consuming nearly a ton of plant matter every single day. Within the fossilized rib cages of these titans, paleontologists have uncovered collections of smooth, polished stones. These were not swallowed by accident. Known as gastroliths, they served as an internal mill, churning inside the stomach to help break down the tough, fibrous vegetation that formed their diet. They were a testament to the intricate biological systems required to power the largest animals ever to walk the earth. They were not a failed experiment, but a dynasty that ruled for an almost unimaginable length of time, shaping ecosystems and driving evolution for over 150 million years. Their world was one of sound and fury, of life lived at a scale that strains the modern mind. Their silence now fills the geological record, a profound testament to the awesome and terrifying power of a changing planet. Within the cavernous gut of a colossal herbivore, an internal alchemy is at work. Here, where the stomach should be, lie enormous, polished stones. These gastroliths, deliberately swallowed, act as a living mill, grinding down the tough, fibrous vegetation, the coarse branches and resilient leaves that fueled these giants. But survival was not merely a matter of digestion. It was a constant, collective struggle. In a world stalked by titans, safety was found in numbers. Vast herds of plant eaters would migrate across the prehistoric plains, a moving fortress of flesh and bone. Among them, the Triceratops, a true icon of the late Cretaceous and one of the last dinosaurs to walk the earth, perfected this strategy of communal defense. When danger loomed, the adults would form a protective ring around the vulnerable young, a living shield of horns and frills, a behavior echoed millions of years later by the elephants of our own time. These peaceful giants were anything but helpless. Thence, sharp horns, anchored to its brow, were weapons of lethal precision, capable of piercing the thick hide of any aggressor. Its magnificent bone frill, a collar of solid bone, served as an impenetrable shield, protecting its vulnerable neck from a killing bite. Other herbivores evolved their own unique brands of defense. The Stegosaurus, with its double row of large, bony plates running the length of its spine, presented a formidable and confusing silhouette. But its true weapon was its tail, armed with sharp spikes that could shatter bone with a single, well-aimed swing. Humant was a heavy, bony club at the end of their tail. One crushing blow from this biological sledgehammer could cripple even the most fearsome hunter, shattering the leg of a fully grown Tarbosaurus. Then there were the thick-headed lizards, the Pachycephalosaurs. Their most striking feature was an incredible dome-shaped skull with bone up to 25 centimeters thick. While once thought to engage in direct headbutting contests, many now believe these spectacular domes were used for flank butting during ritual combat, or simply as a vibrant display of strength to intimidate rivals. Whatever its purpose, this natural helmet provided unparalleled protection for the brain. Yet for all their elaborate defenses, a shadow loomed over this world. A predator so perfectly engineered for the hunt that its very name has become synonymous with terror: Tyrannosaurus. The tyrant lizard was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the carnivorous dinosaurs. Standing over 12 meters long and weighing more than 8 tons, it was the apex predator of its ecosystem. Its arsenal began with its teeth, dozens of serrated daggers curved inwards to prevent prey from escaping. Each tooth could reach 16 centimeters in length, the size of a human hand, designed not just to cut, but to crush bone. Its immense jaws could distill olfactory bulbs, suggesting a sense of smell so phenomenal it could track victims from miles away. This colossal hunter moved on 2 powerful hind legs, granting it surprising speed in pursuit of prey. Its Asian cousin, the Tarbosaurus, shared this terrifying iction existed in the Tyrannosaur's anatomy, its famously short forelimbs. Incomical on such a gargantuan frame, a biological mystery that continues to fuel scientific debate. In this lost world, an intricate dance of evolution played out every day. The shield evolved in response to the sword, the herd in response to the lone hunter. It was an arms race measured not in years, but in millennia, a brutal, magnificent ballet of survival, where life, in all its armored, horned, and fanged glory, fought relentlessly against the finality of extinction. It looms in our collective imagination as the ultimate predator, a specter of primordial power. Yet, for all its terrifying majesty, the Tyrannosaurus Rex presents a profound anatomical enigma. Its forelimbs, impossibly small against its colossal frame, have long fueled scientific debate. Were they vicious tools, armed with claws to pin struggling prey in a final desperate embrace? Or did they serve a more mundane, yet vital purpose? Some specialists theorize they were biological levers, compact but immensely powerful props used by the Titan to push its immense bulk upright after a period of rest or sleep. The truth of these vestigial arms remains one of the great unsolved puzzles of a bygone world. But the story of the dinosaurs is not merely one of solitary hunters and their physical mechanics. For decades, they were imagined as cold reptilian automatons, building nests and laying eggs with no further thought. This paradigm was shattered in 1978. In the Badlands of Montana, a discovery of monumental importance was unearthed. An entire nesting ground, a fossilized nursery frozen in time. This hallowed ground gave the world Maiasaura, a name that translates fittingly as the good mother lizard. Here, the evidence of parental devotion was undeniable. Some of the fossilized young measured nearly a meter in length, yet the eggs from which they hatched were no larger than 20 centimeters. These were not newborns, they were toddlers, far too large to have just emerged from their shells. They had remained in the safety of the nest long after birth. An even more intimate detail emerged from their tiny jaws. Their teeth were worn down, nuttily feeding their offspring until they were strong enough to fend for themselves. The discovery painted a new portrait of dinosaur life, one of community, care, and family. Our window into this lost epic was opened by just such moments of discovery. In 1822, in a humble quarry in the English county of Sussex, a country doctor named Gideon Mantell found a collection of enormous fossilized teeth. Struck by their uncanny resemblance to the teeth of the South American iguana, he correctly deduced they belonged to an extinct giant reptile. He gave it a name that honored his insight: Iguanodon, the iguana tooth. It was one of the first crucial steps in piecing together the vast, ancient tapestry of life. Since Mantell's time, the search has spanned the globe. The fossilized remains of dinosaurs have been found in the heart of every continent, from the scorching deserts of Africa to the frozen wastes of Antarctica. Most common are the bones and teeth, the durable architecture of the skeleton, far more resistant to the ravages of deep time than soft tissue. But sometimes, the earth preserves more than just the body. It preserves a moment. Ghostly footprints, hardened into stone, trace the paths of ancient migrations and the final, terrifying moments of a hunt. These trace fossils allow us to map not just where these creatures lived, but how they moved, who they stalked, and who they fled from. Even their waste provides clues. Coprolites, the fossilized excrement of dinosaurs, are painstakingly dissected. Alongside preserved gut contents and stomach stones, they reveal the precise diets of these ancient beasts, a direct link to the prehistoric food chain. For centuries, however, one fundamental aspect remained pure speculation: their color. But the study of fossilized pigment cells, known as melanosomes, has begun to turn this black and white world into brilliant color. We now know that the small predator Sinosauropteryx brandished a vibrant reddish-brown striped tail. We can see the armored Borealopelta, which employed sophisticated camouflage, its back a dark, earthy tone to blend with the soil from above, while its underbelly was a lighter shade to match the sky from below. This revolution in understanding has also confirmed what was once a fringe theory. Many predatory dinosaurs were covered in feathers. These were not necessarily for flight, but for thermal regulation and for elaborate courtship displays. It is now believed that even a juvenile Tyrannosaurus, the tyrant king itself, may have been cloaked in a downy coat of primitive feathers. Each new fossil, each new technological advance, does not simply add a fact to a list. It redraws the entire world, transforming monstrous caricatures into living, breathing animals, reminding us that the past is not a settled story, but a mystery that is still, slowly, revealing its secret. A world teeming with life, ruled for 150 million years by titans, was brought to its knees in a geological instant. 66 million years ago, at the twilight of the Cretaceous period, the reign of the dinosaurs came to an abrupt and violent end. The cause remains a scar etched into the planet itself, a vast impact crater hidden beneath the waters and sediment of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. From the cold, silent void of space, a celestial executioner arrived. An asteroid or comet, miles wide, slammed into the Earth with unimaginable force, unleashing an explosion billions of times more powerful than any atomic weapon. The immediate devastation was absolute, but the true apocalypse was yet to come. A thick shroud of superheated dust, rock, and ash was blasted into the upper atmosphere, enveloping the globe. The sun, the engine of all life, was blotted out. For months, perhaps years, a chilling artificial twilight descended upon the planet. Photosynthesis faltered, plants withered, and the great chain of life began to buckle and break from the bottom up. Some scientists argue that this single, catastrophic day was merely the catalyst, that the true killer was a slow and agonizing shift in the global climate, a world thrown out of balance. What we do know is that the unique physiology of these creatures, once their greatest strength, was not enough to save them. Modern analysis reveals they were not the sluggish, cold-blooded reptiles of early imagination. They possessed a unique, intermediate metabolism, a biological engine that allowed for sustained activity and immense growth, but it was an engine that required a stable, thriving world to fuel it. In the face of a global winter, it became a fatal liability. The true, intricate sequence of their demise may forever be lost to the abyss of deep time. Yet the echoes of their world remain, locked in stone. The very name we call them, dinosaur, from the Greek for terrible lizard, was first spoken by the anatomist Sir Richard Owen in 1841, as humanity began to piece together the scale of the life that had come before. And what a scale it was! Consider the Ultrasaurus, a true heavyweight champion whose remains were first unearthed in 1979. Estimates place its living weight at a staggering 130 tons, a walking mountain of flesh and bone. Life began for these giants in forms we can almost comprehend. The largest dinosaur egg ever discovered, found in France, was the size of a rugby ball, laid by a colossal sauropod known as Hypsilosaurus. Yet for all their physical grandeur, some were marvels of biological contradiction. The Stegosaurus, a 2-ton herbivore stretching 6 meters, armored with plates and a spiked tail, possessed a brain no larger than a walnut. It was an animal that navigated a complex, dangerous world with a neural center of astonishingly small proportion. At the other end of the spectrum was the apex of terrestrial predation, Tyrannosaurus. Its bite was the most powerful of any land animal in history, a force sufficient to shatter the chassis of a modern automobile with casual ease. But the sound that accompanies evolutionary links to crocodiles and birds suggests something far more unsettling. A low-frequency, infrasonic rumble. A sound felt in the chest, a vibration that pulsed through the very ground, long before it could ever be heard. The age of dinosaurs was also an age of bewildering specialization. Paleontologists have found no claws more formidable than those of the Therizinosaurus. This creature was a theropod, belonging to the same group as the most fearsome carnivores, yet it had seemingly evolved into a vegetarian. On its forelimbs, it was Walge's great enigmas. Were they for defense, for foraging, or for some unknown ritual? The mystery endures. Even their tails were instruments of immense power. The tail of a Diplodocus could stretch for 14 meters, a slender, tapering whip. Scientists now believe that by lashing this appendage, it could break the sound barrier, producing a deafening supersonic crack, a thunderclap used to intimidate predators or communicate across vast, prehistoric floodplains. To contemplate these creatures is to contemplate the sheer immensity of time. The Stegosaurus, with its walnut brain and plated back, was already a fossil by the time Tyrannosaurus walked the Earth. Roughly 80 million years separate the two species. This means that we, in our modern world, are chronologically closer to the last Tyrannosaurus than that Tyrannosaurus was to the first Stegosaurus. Their story seems to be one of utter annihilation, a final chapter written by fire and ice. But it is not. Look to the sky, listen to the morning. One lineage survived the apocalypse. They are small, they are numerous, they are all around us. Birds, they are the last of the dinosaurs. The reign of the terrible lizards never truly ended. It merely learned to fly. The ancient world did not entirely vanish. It echoes in the flutter of a wing, in the call of a bird at dawn. Modern birds are the direct descendants of predatory theropod dinosaurs, the sole lineage that survived a world-altering cataclysm. By this profound biological truth, the smallest dinosaur is not a fossilized relic, but the living hummingbird, a jeweled remnant of a lost empire. Our perception of that empire is constantly being redrawn. The Discovery Me-aquatic dinosaur. This was a river monster, a creature that spent the majority of its existence submerged in the vast waterways of Cretaceous North Africa. Yet for all their power, these titans were bound by the same biological rhythms that govern life today. Microscopic analysis of bone reveals cycles of arrested growth, evidence that dinosaurs experienced periods of slowed metabolism. This was a form of hibernation, a necessary torpor to endure seasonal famines. They were also vulnerable to ancient maladies. On the 76-million-year-old bones of a Centrosaurus, scientists found the unmistakable signature of osteosarcoma, an advanced and aggressive bone cancer. This discovery is a sobering link, proving that the same diseases that haunt our world once afflicted theirs. Their reign was a saga of adaptation, dominance, and ultimately, fragility. Each fossil unearthed is not an endpoint, but a new chapter, challenging what we thought we knew. They remind us that life is a continuum, and that the past is never truly gone. It is simply waiting, bone by painstaking bone, to be rediscovered.